11 gas-saving lies wasting your money. Debunked. Your gas tank is being sabotaged, and you're doing it to yourself. After 2 decades in the shop, I've watched drivers destroy engines chasing pennies. Useless additives, bogus driving hacks, industry lies designed to keep you confused and spending. I'm exposing 11 gas-saving myths costing you hundreds, possibly thousands. One of these can actually seize your motor. Let's break down the lies. 11. The premium fuel placebo. You pull up to the pump. It's been a long week. You look at your car, your reliable daily driver, and think, I want to treat it today. You skip the regular 87 button and reach for premium 91 or 93. You figure that extra 80 cents per gallon will translate into better mileage and more horsepower. Here's what actually happens. You just donated $8 to the oil company for absolutely zero benefit. High-performance engines run at high compression ratios, usually 10-to-1 or higher. If you put low-octane gas in them, the fuel explodes too early in the compression stroke, causing detonation that can punch holes through pistons. So this is it. Open your fuel door, read the sticker. If it says regular unleaded, use regular unleaded. If it says premium recommended, you can likely still use regular with a tiny loss in power, usually less than 5%. Only if it says premium required should you ever touch the expensive nozzle. Have you been wasting money on premium fuel unnecessarily? Drop a comment below with your car model. Let's see how many people have been overpaying. While premium gas only hurts your wallet at $8 per tank, the next myth actively damages engine components worth thousands. 10. The winter warm-up ritual. It's a freezing January morning. You wake up, grab your coffee, and hit the remote start button on your key fob. You let the car idle for 10, maybe 15 minutes. The engine needs to warm up, you tell yourself. The oil is thick, the pistons are cold. If I drive it now, I'll damage the engine. This advice from the 1970s is actively killing your modern engine and costing you over $200 per winter in wasted fuel. Yesterday, a construction worker from Milwaukee brought in his 2019 Silverado with only 68,000 miles. The engine was burning oil badly, a full quart every 1,000 miles. When we pulled the oil pan, we found the cylinder walls were scored with vertical scratches. The cause? 3 years of 15-minute warm-up idles every winter morning. By idling for 10 minutes, you're getting 0 mpg. Literally burning fuel to go nowhere. But the mechanical damage is the real story. Enjoying the truth bombs so far? Please do us a favor. Click like and subscribe. It helps us get this info out to more drivers who need it. But get this, the next myth isn't just about wasting money. It's about trusting your brain over a computer, and the results are embarrassing. 9. The manuals save gas myth. Welcome to 2025, where the machines have officially beaten us, and the data proves it brutally. This myth was true in 1995. Back then, automatics had 3 or 4 gears and heavy torque converters that slipped, wasting 10 to 15% of engine power. But today, modern automatics, whether 10-speed planetary gearboxes or continuously variable transmissions, are statistically superior to human drivers. A customer of mine insisted his 6-speed manual Honda Civic got better mileage than the CVT version. We borrowed an identical CVT model and did a back-to-back highway test. Same route, same speeds, same day. His manual averaged 38.2 miles per gallon. The CVT, 42.7 miles per gallon. He was losing 4.5 miles per gallon because he shifted at the wrong RPMs and cruised in 5th gear when 6th was optimal. According to Consumer Reports, only 18% of new car buyers even choose manual transmissions anymore, and fuel economy isn't the reason. It's purely for driving engagement. Speaking of efficiency, the biggest drag on your fuel economy isn't inside the car, it's bolted on top of it, and it's costing you $300 per year. 8. the permanent roof rack. You bought that roof rack or cargo box for a camping trip 3 years ago. You used it for one weekend, but you never took it off. It looks kind of cool, right? Plus, taking it off is a hassle. You figure, it's aerodynamic. It's designed to slice through air. Leaving it on probably costs me pennies. Physics disagrees violently. Leaving a roof rack on your car when empty is like bolting a parachute to your roof, and it's draining $26 from your wallet every single month. Consumer Reports ran extensive wind tunnel and real-world tests on this exact issue. They found that even an empty roof rack decreases fuel efficiency by 5%. Add a cargo box, and you're losing up to 13% of your MPG. That's not a rounding error, that's massive. The air turbulence created by those crossbars disrupts laminar flow over the vehicle, forcing your engine to work significantly harder just to maintain 65 miles per hour. At highway speeds, aerodynamic drag accounts for over 60% of your engine's workload. Pause this video right now. Go look at your car. Is there anything on your roof that isn't being used today? Take it off this weekend and watch your fuel economy improve immediately. Physical drag is expensive, but chemical scams are worse, and they're waiting for you at every gas station checkout. 7. The fuel additive fix. You're standing at the counter to pay for your gas. You see a shelf of colorful bottles, octane booster, MPG magic, fuel system optimizer. The label promises to clean your injectors, boost your mileage by 20%, and make your old engine run like new. It's only $12. You think, why not? It's cheap insurance. It's not insurance, it's kerosene, marketing, and a $450 repair bill waiting to happen. 3 months ago, a college student brought in his 2015 Ford F-150. It was misfiring violently and throwing multiple check engine codes. He admitted he'd been using a bottle of octane booster at every fill-up because the internet told him it would give him more power. When we pulled the spark plugs, they were coated in a thick, rusty orange glaze from the MMT chemical in the additive. That $12 bottle didn't give him more power. It cost him $450 in diagnostics, new spark plugs, and replacement ignition coils. The MMT had created conductive deposits that were shorting out his ignition system. When you pour that $12 bottle into your tank, you're diluting the precisely engineered chemistry of the fuel. Independent lab tests from AAA have shown that while some additives containing PEA can clean injectors, they have zero measurable impact on fuel economy for a car that's already running fine. According to industry data, Americans spend over $2 billion annually on unnecessary fuel additives. If your check engine light isn't on, your fuel system doesn't need a fix. But chemical damage is just one problem. The next myth has drivers sweating through summer thinking they're saving gas, when they're actually burning 12% more fuel. 6. The AC versus Windows debate. It's a hot summer day. You want to save gas. You've heard that air conditioning robs engine power, so you turn off the AC and roll down all the windows. You enjoy the breeze thinking, I'm sweating, but at least I'm getting better mileage. You might be right at 25 miles per hour, but on the highway you're dead wrong, and you're actually burning up to 12% more fuel than if you just used the AC. This is a battle between two forces: parasitic loss from the AC compressor versus aerodynamic drag from open windows. The Society of Automotive Engineers and Mythbusters have both tested this extensively with identical results. At low speeds, city driving below 45 miles per hour, the drag from open windows is negligible, so rolling them down is more efficient than running the AC compressor, which draws about 3 to 4 horsepower from your engine. However, the moment you cross roughly 45 to 50 miles per hour, the equation flips dramatically. According to EPA studies, the AC versus Windows debate has a clear winner. Below 45 miles per hour, Windows down saves you about 3% in fuel. Above 55 miles per hour, AC saves you up to 8% compared to Windows down. But if you think air pressure doesn't matter, the next myth could land you in a ditch, and the repair bill starts at $2,200. 5. the overinflation gamble. You've read on hypermiling forums that softer tires create more rolling resistance. The logic seems sound. Make the tire harder and it rolls easier. So you look at the sidewall of your tire. It says max press, 50 psi. You pump your tires up to 50 psi, ignoring the sticker in your door jamb that recommends 32 psi. You think you've unlocked free MPG. You've also just unlocked a $2,200 body shop bill and a potential death trap. I've seen 3 cars in my shop this year alone with blown tires from this exact mistake. While it's true that overinflated tires have slightly less rolling resistance, the gains are microscopic. We're talking maybe 1% better MPG for a 15 psi increase. But the cost is massive and dangerous. Tires are designed to flex. That flex allows the tread to flatten out and grip the road. When you overinflate a tire, it balloons. The contact patch, the rubber actually touching the road, shrinks drastically. You're now driving on a tiny strip of rubber in the center of the tire. This means your braking distance increases by up to 20%. Your handling in rain becomes dangerous because the water channels can't evacuate properly, increasing hydroplaning risk. And because the tire can't absorb bumps, your suspension takes a beating, wearing out shocks and struts faster. That's a $500 repair per axle. Quick reminder, if this is saving you money, hit subscribe. I drop myth-busting videos like this every week. But if you think overinflating tires is risky, wait until you hear about the driving technique that saves fuel by putting you 10 feet behind an 80,000-pound vehicle at 70 miles per hour. 4. The drafting death wish. You're on the interstate. A massive 18-wheeler roars past. You remember watching NASCAR, where cars draft bumper to bumper to save fuel. You think, that truck is punching a huge hole in the air. If I tuck in right behind him, I can coast in his slipstream. You pull in close, maybe 20 feet off his bumper. Your instant MPG gauge spikes. It works. Yes, it works. Mythbusters proved you can increase efficiency by nearly 30% if you get within 10 feet of a semi-truck. But here's the problem. You're driving blind at 70 miles per hour with 0 reaction time, and the stone chips alone will cost more than the $10 of gas you saved. When you draft a truck, you cannot see the road ahead. You cannot see debris, stopped traffic, or potholes. If that truck driver taps his brakes, or if one of his tires delaminates, which happens constantly on long hauls, you have 0 reaction time. You'll be under his trailer before your foot touches the brake pedal. Besides, truck drivers hate this. You're in their blind spot. They cannot see you in their mirrors. To get you to back off, they might brake check you, drift lanes, or kick up rocks that will destroy your paint and crack your windshield. According to the FMCSA, following distance at highway speeds should be at least 3 seconds, roughly 300 feet at 70 miles per hour. Getting within 50 feet violates traffic laws in most states and is considered reckless driving. The next myth isn't dangerous, but it's been wasting people's time since the 1920s. 3. The morning fill-up fantasy. You've likely heard this legendary piece of advice passed down from grandfathers for decades. Always buy your gas in the early morning when it's cool outside. Cold fuel is denser, so you get more actual gasoline for your money. If you fill up in the scorching afternoon heat, the liquid expands and you're paying for vapors. Here's why this myth is obsolete. Gas stations don't store fuel in plastic jugs sitting on hot pavement. They store it in massive double-walled fiberglass or steel tanks buried 15 feet underground. At that depth, the temperature remains constant year-round, typically between 50 and 60 degrees Fahrenheit, regardless of whether it's January or July. According to petroleum engineers, underground fuel storage temperature stability has been standard since the 1960s. This myth was relevant when gas stations had above-ground tanks in the 1920s. Stop setting alarms. Fill up when your tank is empty. The only thing you're expanding by waking up at dawn is your level of fatigue and frustration. We've debunked liquid density myths, but what about airflow? The next myth involves spending $60 on a filter that might trigger a check engine light worth $800 to diagnose. 2. The performance filter trap. You see ads for K and N or other high-flow air filters. They claim to add horsepower and improve fuel economy by letting your engine breathe easier. The logic is that factory paper filters are restrictive, choking your engine. You buy a $60 reusable oiled filter, drop it in, and wait for the MPG gains. You'll be waiting forever, and you might trigger a check engine light that costs $800 to diagnose. In a carbureted engine from 1970, a freer flowing air filter might help because airflow was mechanically restricted. But in a modern car, the engine management computer controls everything using a mass airflow sensor to measure exactly how much air enters the engine, then injects the precise amount of fuel to match it. If you install a filter that flows more air, the computer simply adds more fuel to maintain the correct 14.7 to 1 air-fuel ratio. You don't get better mileage, you just get louder intake noise that makes you feel like something improved. Worse, these performance filters using oiled cotton gauze don't filter particles as small as paper filters. Independent tests show that paper filters trap particles down to 5 microns, while oiled gauze filters only catch particles above 10 to 15 microns. Those smaller particles, they're getting into your engine, causing accelerated cylinder wall wear. According to Consumer Reports testing, aftermarket high-flow filters showed 0 measurable MPG improvement in 30 different vehicles tested. The factory paper filter flows more than enough air for your engine's maximum power output. Standard paper filters from reputable brands like Fram, Purolator, or OEM manufacturers filter better and protect your engine better. Your engine isn't suffocating, it's breathing perfectly fine. Have you installed a performance air filter? Comment below whether you noticed any actual MPG improvement or just louder intake noise. But get this, the final myth is the most expensive. It's the one people defend most fiercely, yet it causes starter motor failures costing $680, and I've seen it destroy engines. 1. The traffic light shutoff. You pull up to a long red light. You look at your dash. You think, why should I burn gas sitting here? You reach out and turn the key, or hit the button, to shut off the engine. When the light turns green, you restart it. You feel smug. You just saved 45 seconds of fuel. Stop doing this immediately. You're about to destroy a starter motor worth $680 to save $15 per year in gas. I'm not talking about cars with factory start-stop technology. I'm talking about you manually turning off your standard 2015 Honda or 2018 Ford that was never designed for this abuse. 6 months ago, a driver came in with a 2017 Hyundai Elantra that wouldn't start. He told me he made a habit of turning the key off at every single red light to save the planet and his wallet. He'd been doing this religiously for 2 years. We pulled the starter motor, and the internal brushes were completely disintegrated, worn down to metal-on-metal contact. The Bendix gear teeth were rounded off from excessive engagement cycles. Here's the brutal math. He saved roughly $40 in fuel over those 2 years by shutting off at lights. But the bill? Starter motor replacement, $395. Towing the car when it died in an intersection, $120. Diagnostic time, $165. Total, $680. He spent $640 to save $40. According to automotive engineers, idling for more than 7 seconds technically uses more fuel than restarting. But the financial math ignores the $1,500 hidden cost of premature starter and bearing wear. Here's the safe rule. If your car didn't come with an auto start-stop button on the dashboard, it wasn't engineered for constant restart cycles. Leave the engine running at traffic lights. The 20 cents of gas you burn during a 2-minute red light is infinitely cheaper than the $680 tow truck and starter replacement you'll need when your starter dies in the middle of an intersection during rush hour. Over 70% of cars that need premature starter replacement have owners who manually shut off engines at lights, according to data from the Automotive Service Association. You just learned 11 myths that cost drivers $300 to $2,000 each. Exposed. Start today. Check your door jamb for the correct tire pressure and fuel grade. Takes 10 seconds. But here's what nobody tells you. Even with perfect habits, cheap gasoline is silently destroying your engine from the inside. Click the video on screen now. I'm exposing the 11 gas station brands you should never use and 5 that actually protect your engine.